Welcome to World Class Education. My name is Dr. Bradley, and I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm going to talk about a few things, and one of them is how perfect people are when they look at something very special. All right? And the teaching, if you have a phone, if you want to take a video, you want to put on your TikTok, wherever, YouTube, you can do it. And you can use your phone to take the notes of what I'm going to say. You are a product of many meetings. You understand? We grow when we hear. So we are a product of so many meetings. The meetings that you attend, as you're growing up in life, you become a product of those meetings. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming. Parents or ministers, if you're a minister, you're a counselor, and you're here, I want to thank you. Pastors, men of God, imams, sheikh, I want to thank you for coming today. Now, I'm a professional speaker, and my desire is to inspire people, to make sure people are inspired. And when you graduate, I heard Sheikh Dawood talked about people graduating, other kind of stuff. When you graduate, what's more important is what you're going to do after that. You see, we have so many people that have gone to school, have graduated, but there's a problem, okay, that they've buried their certificates, they've buried all this kind of stuff because of something very, very simple that they do not know. Now, I want to be sure you can hear me. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay, I'll ask you to stand. Cameraman, keep shooting. I want everybody to stand. Please be upstanding. I know you've been sitting for a long time. I know you're tired. Believe me, I won't waste your time. Say, I believe. Say with me. Say, I believe that I know how to understand. Say, I believe that my heart is always receptive. Thank you. Please be seated. The perfect mirror. I want to talk about the perfect mirror. There are so many mirrors in the Word, right? So many mirrors in the Word. And I want to talk about the perfect mirror. There is such a thing as a mirror. When you get a mirror in your house, before you came here today, you looked into the mirror. I do not believe that there's a person who did not look into the mirror. I don't believe that, right? Of course, there should be someone, maybe one or two, all right? But many of you, you've looked into your mirrors, is it? Before coming here, because you trust what you're seeing in that mirror. You believe what you're seeing in that mirror. The importance of seeing yourself. You want to be sure that when you're going out, what you see in the mirror is exactly what people will see. That's correct, is it? And then that mirror will teach you more about how you look on that day. Is that correct? So you believe that mirror. Now listen to me. There are different types of mirrors. Some mirrors will show you that you're fat. And some mirrors will show you that you're a bit slim like that. Okay? Different types of mirrors that we look ourselves into. We see ourselves. So I look like that. I'd like to remind you that before the mirror was discovered, that very mirror was discovered, the only way I knew or people knew how they looked like is when they saw their friend. So they looked at this lady and they said, this lady looks like me. Have you seen that? So if they want to say that I've got a mark on my chin, they want to ask the person, where is it? So you do have it, because he's never seen it, he will never say it. In other words, sometimes they could use the water, check the water when they're washing their face, they see their face, but then the mirror wasn't so good, so they wait for the water to be still so they can see themselves. Do you understand? That was a mirror. Now, if we can trust that mirror, well, as we see ourselves, we do the makeup. You do a lot of makeup, right? You see yourself and do the makeup, is it? You say, okay, I want to look like that. I want to look this way. I want to dress like this. By looking into the mirror, right? So we now know the importance of the mirror, the power that it's got to show us how we look like. What am I trying to say? There is another kind of a mirror that tells us the truth about us. Do you understand? It tells us the truth about us. And that mirror is not the physical mirror. I'm giving you just an example. It's not the physical mirror. You hear me? It's not the physical mirror. When a child is growing up and that child is told who he is, even when you lie to that child, it's like you're brainwashing the child. You understand that? So the child sees a different picture about himself. Before you choose to go to Kitwe, for example, if you're going to Kitwe or you're going to London, you have a picture in your mind, an imagination in your mind about the place where you're going. Is it? About where you want to go. You have a picture inside your mind. You imagine this place, how beautiful it is. You've heard things about it, and now you have this thing in your mind. I'm going this way. Now, above a lot of mirrors, the most important mirror is the power to imagine things and to see ourselves in that picture. Are you with me? To see ourselves in that picture. If you don't see yourself in that particular picture, if you refuse to see yourself, or the word is, I want to use a better term, assuming I'm seated in a chair, all right, and I'm looking at pictures in my mind, imaginations in my mind, where I want to go in 2 years. In these imaginations is right in my mind, right? And then I believe them. I keep them with me. Then I make them real to me. They will control the way I do things. Because now I have a mirror that tells me that this is who you are. Are you with me? We've seen so many things using bad mirrors. People fighting, families killing each other, people complaining about their business falling, sufferings of the world, wars around the world. And we've lived timid and afraid because of these mirrors of the world. Wrong mirrors, bad mirrors. But we are in that position where we can create our own mirror. We are in that position where we can choose what we want to see. You understand? You've seen people fighting, families breaking, couples divorcing. It's a difficult world, terrible place, a troubled world. But then you can choose what you want to see and what you want to believe. You understand? That's the only power that man has, to imagine things and believe them. Many years ago, I had no money, nothing. What kept me going was the excitement of the visions that I saw in my mind. And I said, no, I'm not like that. I'm this kind of a man. And they said, no, you go mad. Be careful with that. In my mind, I believed I was so rich, so successful, because that's the picture I set for myself. Now, this picture is only here. When you train your mind to imagine things, the level of your imagination goes beyond what people would say, no, stop, this is too much. You think like that about yourself? Now, there are people in the world with billions of dollars, rich men. There are people that have lived a very happy life. A couple, they've lived a very successful, happy life. And now they are 70, they are 80, they are 100. And in the same world, there are people who've suffered. The difference is the mirror. What you want to believe, what you choose to believe. Do you understand that? What you want to believe and what you choose to believe. Now, you cannot believe things unless you see them. The only real things, let me tell you, a car, it's not very real because it's real but not permanent because you can see it. Because you can see it and you use it, it is subject to break. right? But the car inside here is not going to break, is it? Are you with me? Get the point. The car that I have in my head is not going to break. Do you remember the toy cars that children were making with soil? The toy cars. Remember those toy cars they were playing with? They became real cars because in that time, these boys, the cars they were shaping, the toy cars they were making, when he grew up, he said, I want the car to look like this. You remember that the machines they make today, all right, the robotics they make today, in those days it was just theory and thoughts of people, children deciding and thinking this was possible. Today it's happening, and government wants to use them. But all these things came from the mind of people. I told you before in the last meeting that the design of this building right now, the curtains, the puppets, everything here, the chairs you've seen right now, they were designed by a person. Now, before they became real to you today, they were in someone's mind. He saw them in his mind, and he said, I can see them, then I'm going to do them. Have you seen that? So we know that there's a perfect mirror that we can choose to look at. Do you understand? A perfect mirror. Before you dress today, you put on your suit, you had an imagination how you want to look like. You went to the saloon, you thought how the hairstyle should be, which direction it should go. It was in your mind. You imagined that. It was in your thoughts. That's the greatest power that man has. The perfect mirror. There is no need to suffer. There is no need to be poor. The time has gone for people to suffer and be poor. That time is gone. We're living in the days where success is natural. We're living in the days where what we think about is what becomes real. These are the days that you should decide to arise and choose success only. Do you understand? If your family is breaking apart, remember, you have a tool in your mind to bring it together. You have a tool in your mind. And that tool is the perfect mirror, the power of imagination. You can imagine things. Now, there are people who've got a corrupt mind. They think about wrong things. They have a corrupt mind. Now, we cannot accept a corrupt mind. In fact, a corrupt mind makes you do destructive things that destroy you. Corrupt minds are like minds of people who are looking for power, all right? Tomorrow they just became something else. They want to take over a country. It happened before in this country, if you remember very well, all right? They want to take over the country. Corrupt mind. They want to use force to do something. You're married to a couple. You want to force her to become what she's not. You're not patient, you have a corrupt mind. You want to get money, you don't want to get it the right way, you have a corrupt mind. And now, when you choose to go in that direction, your end is always known by others. You see, the end of a corrupt person, the end of a thief, is the day he will be caught. Do you understand? Somebody said, no, how did they catch him? He wasn't too smart. I'm smart. You should have done this. You should have done that. You understand? But the truth is, his end would still have come. Are you with me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Say yes, sir. Do you understand what I say? Yes. When I say hi, say hello. Hi. Hello. Don't sleep. Say I have. Say I have the power to imagine things. Are you able to imagine anything? You do? You too? You too? You too? You can imagine things. You can imagine things. Can you imagine things? You see that? So we do have the power. Now, how do we use that tool? So you know, Pastor, that you've got the power to think about something and then create beautiful pictures about your tomorrow. You understand? Beautiful pictures. Let me tell you something. Many people have got wrinkles on their faces today, who are old or who are sick, most of them, many of those people, why they look the way they look, it is all their creation in their minds. All of it. And then if you continue that way for 5 years, you become a professional bad dreamer. You see, you're just a bad dreamer. Your children look somehow. Your husband, your family, your brothers and sisters, somehow the entire family is lost. You understand? But if you train your mind early, you teach your mind early to dream beautiful things. Now let me tell you something. I know, I am sure with us that God doesn't want people suffering. No, I am sure about this. Just like your biological father doesn't want you suffering. Not only that, your own child doesn't want to see you suffering. Even you yourself, you don't want to see yourself suffering. Those people who commit suicide, the reason they kill themselves because they love themselves too much to a point that she can't do this to me. No, and he feels pain. Now he wants the pain to stop. They love themselves too much. That's man. So no one wants to suffer. You say, this pain is too much. I don't want to suffer. I'd rather just die. Why? They want the pain to stop. If we train this mind, the mind is like you're going to the gym, okay? You've got muscle, you understand me? You want to build a V, you understand me? You want to train yourself, you want to become strong, you want to do all these beautiful things. You hear me? Now, your mind is that way too. As you're exercising, okay? Tomorrow, you would try and run maybe for 500 meters. Another day, you run for 700 meters. The other day, for 1 kilometer. Now, why are you advancing what you're doing? Because your muscles are growing. Is it? The same thing with your mind. The muscles of your brain. The power of imagination. Nothing beats the power of imagination. Doctors say this person is going to die, and the imagination has said no. You say, no, I'm not dying. No, not in my life. There are so many things in the world, but this mind of ours will say no. Or how about BP, high blood pressure? What happens with it? It's of the mind. They tell people we have drugs for BP. However, if we give them to you, if we gave them to you, they might destroy you. But we're going to tell you something. We'll ask you to control that BP. The doctor is going to choose your mind above the medicine. Think about that. The power of your imagination. Oh, I love life. You understand? And because I am here, because let me tell you something. In the world, the whole world, everyone is important. We're like a big strong tree. A big strong tree. And everybody is responsible for something. Did you understand? Everybody is responsible for something. Every person. The reason for that is to make sure that the world functions. Did you understand? The power of the mind. Now, if you are 25 years old, if you're 50 years old, if you're 60 years old, there is a saying that people die at 70, is it? So if you're thinking about making money, you're going to calculate your years between now and that time. So you want to believe that you don't have much time. You want to tell yourself there is no much time for me, is it? I have seen people that claim that people die at 70 and 80. I've seen them fail to prove that. Because I've seen people die at 120 in my time. Now, here's the fact. Whether you believe it or not, anybody can live more than 150, even 200. It is possible. Anyone can. Now, When we read the Quran, we read the Bible, we read the books of Zeus, we find stories of people that lived more. Now, it's either they lied to us or they told us the truth. But if it happened, the same people are like you. He says, so if they did at the time, you can. Now look, what's important is not how long you're going to live. What's important is what you're going to do in the space of time given to you. Because if you're given 200 years, it's not enough. You still don't want to die at 200. So you're given 300, you still don't want to die at 300. They say, no, you have lived for too long. Others have died, you have been living. You say, I don't want to die. You say, would you want to die for 300 years? Would you? Would you? How are you? Would you want to die after 300 years? Of course not. You want to live forever. That's man for you. You get me, right? What's important is not how long you live, is what you do in the time given to you. Gentlemen, I bring you a message of love, a message of power, to show you how successful you can be and how great you are in this world. That in this world, there are rich men and there are poor men. And everyone has a choice where you want to belong, which world you want to be, which sphere of contacts you want to be, the kind of people in your life you want to have, your children, what kind of children do you want to have? It is your choice. And all these things come from your mind. You choose, you decide what you want to become. There are bad times that you will face. There are good times that you face. Now I'll tell you something. To be positive is to make sure that your mind believes only that which is upright, that which is success. Do you understand? They say, no, strike a balance. Choose. You must strike a balance. We can be poor and we can be rich. No. If you choose that way, it means that if you go in that direction of poverty, you will accept it. If you choose success only, what happens around you, if it's opposite to what you have chosen, it will not be a bother to you because you know that it's not real. What is real is what you've imagined in your head. Do you understand me? Did you hear what I said? Are you sleeping? You're listening, right? So in your mind, choose your mind, remain successful. Say, I'm a success. Say, I am a success. Say, I'm a victor. I'm a victor. You know what that word means? Somebody tells you, you are nothing to me. Okay? A person, huh? You are nothing to me. Who do you think you are? What are you? They are trying to talk you down. But when you say to yourself that I'm a victor, you talk yourself up. Do you understand? You hear me? You talk yourself up. It's very, very important. I talk myself up every day. These are words of affirmations. I say them. Now, there is nothing wrong with you promoting yourself and making yourself feel like you own the place and you're happy. There's nothing wrong with that. Refuse to be poor. Refuse to suffer. Refuse to be in bondage of your mind. Wake up. Shine. You understand? Wake up and shine. You're a perfect person. How many have heard people say, I'm not a perfect person? Well, not perfect. What they mean when they say that is, you are bound to make mistakes. Now, if you use that term to say, nobody's perfect, just because this person is bound to make mistakes, then you're not using that word correct. You hear me? If you say this TV is perfect, it means it's exactly what you wanted. Now, if at all it doesn't show you all the colors, that's not a problem. But it's exactly what you wanted. So now, he was made beautiful the way he is, so he is perfect. So never use that word. I used to use that word a lot, and it sounds like you're justifying yourself when you say, I'm not perfect. I'm a person. It's foolishness to say so. And that's the excuse men use, especially men. They like to say, I'm not perfect, when they are wrong. Now, I am perfect. Do you understand? Say, I'm perfect. I have everything I need. You see? Among other needs. What's important is that what you have today is everything you needed to have. Do you understand? Is everything you needed to have. Thank you so much. I didn't take much time, did I? I did not, right? Thank you.